Residents of Irkutsk are being sent letters calling on them to go to the war against Ukraine. In them, Russians are assured that, I quote, "Every day dozens of Irkutsk residents decide to be close to those who do a real man's job," reports the People of Baikal publication.
The mailing states that compatriots went to war voluntarily and does not mention in any way that the relatives of those mobilized regularly ask to return them home. From the publication by Sibir Reali.
All Russian officials began advertising contract service in the army, and the mayor of Moscow reported on the early completion of the Ministry of Defense task of recruiting contract soldiers. In Moscow, about 47,000 people have already signed contracts, including more than 22,000 people this year. Thus, we completed the Ministry of Defense's task for this year ahead of schedule. Sergei Sobyanin, mayor of Moscow, from the publication by The Current Time. If promises of payments in the army have little effect on Moscow residents, then for the province residents it is a strong argument. In Khakassia, recruits are promised 700,000 rubles at once, and after signing the contract, from 200,000 rubles per month. This is a lot of money for the region. Every fifth person in Khakassia lives below the poverty line. The plan to recruit people for the war against Ukraine was assigned to regional authorities directly from Moscow. As journalists from the publication Important Stories found out that it is proposed to provide the required number of recruits at the expense of migrants who have received Russian citizenship, bankrupts, debtors, and unemployed, representatives of other vulnerable social segments of society. This is what the regional officials are doing now.
They run around the city in a panic, go around flats looking for people from the most vulnerable sections of society so that they have something to put pressure on them and just to carry out the plan. When asked what these people should do at the front, they simply excuse themselves and say, let them dig trenches. They don't care about their condition, what they will do there, how they will return and whether they will return. Indeed, they apparently don't care much about the quality of the Russian army, given the candidates they bring. What they care about is the execution of the plan.
The Kremlin continues to recruit prisoners for the war against Ukraine. This is confirmed by the founder of the Russia Behind Bars Foundation, Olga Romanova. According to her information, military registration and enlistment offices often threaten convicts with a suspended sentence to be replaced with a real one if they do not go to war against Ukraine.
I understand that all the prisoners will be selected for this war, except for the elderly and people who really can't move. Prisoners will be chosen first, then the national outskirts, along with migrants who have just received Russian citizenship or are about to receive it. The raids on mosques have already begun and are proceeding as expected, and then they'll go after everyone else.
In the spring of 2023, the Kremlin set the task of recruiting 400,000 contract soldiers into the armed forces of the Federation and issued corresponding orders to the regions, Bloomberg reports. In this way, the authorities are trying to avoid mass mobilization before the presidential elections. The announcement of mobilization in 2022 sharply reduced support for Putin and caused a mass exodus of Russians from the country, reported by Power Natalia Huzak, UATV News.